Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new 1/12 scale Street Fighter V Ryu figure from Storm Collectibles. Now this figure comes packaged in a window box. You've got the figure displayed. Down below you've got some artwork for the character, the Street Fighter logo, and the name. Off to the sides we have more artwork for the character. And then on the back of the packaging we have images showing off the various accessories and poses you can put the figure in. Alright, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging along with the other contents. Now you do get an instruction sheet that shows you how to work all the accessories and everything. So first of all, we get this display base, which is nice. You've got the Street Fighter V logo here for the base, and then you've got this clear arm with the clamp, and the clamp you can move to the left and to the right, and you can do it upwards like that. And the entire arm you can extend upwards and downwards, so you can adjust it like that. And it's, you know, got that kind of ridge click system, so you can hear it kind of clicking into place there. And then the clamp itself is spring loaded, so when you open it, it's going to snap back into place. You can see here I have him in the base like this, so you know you can get him to stand. It's sturdy, so he's not going to fall over, or the stand's not going to fall over with the figure on there. So we get 4 different pairs of hands with this figure. We get a pair of closed-fisted hands, which are the ones that are attached to the figure when you first take it out of the packaging. Then you get this pair of open hands with all the fingers kind of open. And this is the pair of hands that you're going to use with the Hadoken Effect that he comes with. Then you get a pair of hands where the 2 end fingers are kind of bent closed. And then the final pair of hands, those 2 end fingers are kind of halfway bent closed. So switching out the hands is easy. You just pop off the hand you want to replace, and you'll notice that the bottom part of the glove is actually a separate piece, and this is just a rubber type material, so when you pop the hands off, these will come off. And then it is a double peg system, so if when you're popping the hands off, if the peg comes out, then you can just remove it from the fist and plug it back into the arm. And then you want to make sure that you have the rubber pieces, the bottom parts of the gloves, on the arm before you snap on the replacement hand. Now one thing I want to note about the hands is the open hands, the fingers are all made with a rubber type material, so they're not articulated, but you can kind of move the fingers a bit. We get 3 different face pieces with this figure. So we get the normal face, which is what's attached to the figure when you first take it out of the packaging. Then you get the gritting of the teeth face, and then you get the open kind of screaming face. And to switch out the face pieces is easy. The best way to do it is just to kind of grab it by the ears and then grab the back of the head and then just pull out, and it'll come off. You can see there's the little peg there on the back of the faceplate, and you've got the hole on the head sculpt, and then you just plug in whatever face piece that you want to use. So the final accessory we get with this figure is this Hadouken Effect, and this is done with a blue semi-translucent plastic, and it breaks down into 3 different parts. You've got this outer piece which has some frost on the top and then some yellow translucent plastic on the bottom tips. And this basically attaches, there's these 3 little pieces of plastic that kind of stick out here, and then what you do is you just slide it over the bubble until it hooks into one of these grooves. So you have to kind of line it up there, but once it hooks in, then it'll stay on there pretty good. And then this middle piece is also removable. It just kind of plugs in there, so you know you can turn it however you want. And then this back piece is where the figure will hold on to it. And you can see you've got some frost here on the bottom, and you've got some frost on the top of the bubble. Now you can display this. You can have them shooting the Hadoken with this outer piece or without it. Getting the figure to hold this is a little tricky. It takes a little bit, it took me a little time to kind of figure it out. You definitely want to pay close attention to your instructions. So the hardest thing to kind of figure out first of all is what is the top and what is the bottom of this plastic piece. It's not terribly clear with the picture here, but I believe basically the best way to tell is this little hook piece here is what is the bottom. So basically this is the bottom and then this is the top. And then what you want to do is you've got to basically fit the hands. There's these little grooves on the bottom here, and then you just kind of fit the hands. So you want to make sure you've got which one is the top hand and which one's the bottom hand. And it again tells you in the little instruction sheet. So this is our top hand, and so what you want to do is you just kind of like I said, you kind of have to play around a little bit, but eventually you'll be able to figure out, you know, notice these little grooves here, and you'll slide the fingers in there. Now once you have the hands in there, and again this is where the rubber fingers kind of come in handy because you know they'll move around so you can kind of fit it into the grooves. And basically you just want to get them in there as tight as possible. And then once you do that, basically you want to pose your arms so you know they match up with the pegs, and then you just plug it in. And then once you have everything, the hands plugged back in and everything lined up, then you can just snap on this end piece, and then you have your Hadoken Effect. And so, like I said, it's a little tricky to get this on there, but once you do, I think it looks pretty good. I like how the effect looks. I like the translucent plastic and everything. So for the figure itself, I think Storm Collectibles has done a nice job with the overall sculpting. I like the head sculpt. I like how the hair looks. Now one thing I do want to note is this back piece for his headband is actually removable. It just kind of plugs in. It's done with a soft rubber type material, and it plugs into this hole in the back of the head. So you can move it, so you can have it kind of blowing in the wind and stuff. So I like that. And then I like the face sculpt. All three face pieces I think look pretty good, pretty true to what we see in the arcade game. And then he's got the Ghee, which is actually done with that kind of rubber material that we see used a lot with the Storm Collectible figures. I like the sculpting with the muscle tone, and you can see little veins here on his bicep and shoulder, so I like that. Again, I like how the wrinkles and everything on the Ghee look, and it's definitely kind of tattered here at the shoulder. The belt is, again, made with that kind of rubber material, and I like the little detailing with the writing here, so I like that. I like the little writing on his gloves. And then the pants are sculpted. The pants are hard plastic. And then he's got the feet. I like the detailing with the toes. I also like the detailing with the fingers on the open hands and stuff. I like how you can see their fingernails and stuff. I think that's a nice added touch. So this figure stands just a little bit over 7 inches tall. Here's a comparison with the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat figure that I looked at last week. Here's some older Soda Toy Street Fighter figures. Sorry I couldn't find my Ryu, but we do have Chun-Li and Guile. And then here's a comparison with a couple other 7-inch video game figures from NECA Toys. We've got Kratos and Nathan Drake from Uncharted 4. Okay, so for articulation, you can turn the head to the left and to the right. It really doesn't have a whole lot of down and up movement with the head. The neck is actually made with a rubber type material, so it limits some of the movement there. You can move the head back and down, but it's not really going to stay in those positions. You can get the arm out good. You've got the ball hinge joint there, so you've got good up movement with the arm, and you've got good rotation, and you've got a butterfly type joint, so you've got some back and forth movement there with the arm as well. You've got a bicep swivel, a double hinge type elbow, so he can bend his elbow about that much, and then you've got the rotation at the wrist, and you've got those ball hinge joints, so you've got up and down movement, or you can turn the ball joint, and so you've got the back and forth movement as well. You've got a midsection joint, so you've got some rotation there. Now this Ghee, which is a separate piece and you can actually remove, does limit some of the movement when you have it on, but you do have the midsection rotation there, and he can crunch down. He's got a waist swivel as well, and the waist swivel is not limited by the Ghee at all. And you can actually have him bend down at the waist much more than you can at the midsection, and then he can look back pretty good as well. And then the legs are attached with ball joints, so you've got that inner joint there, so you've got rotation up high there. He can do the splits good, he can get his leg forward good, and you can do the leg back. You can kind of pull the leg out from the socket a bit there to get more movement. You've got a double hinge knee, so you can bend his knee about that much, and then you've got rotation up here at the calf. And then you've got the hinges on the feet, so you've got up and down movement, and you've got some pivot to the left and the right, and then you've got toe articulation as well, and no peg holes on the bottom of the feet. This Ghee is actually removable. You can unhook the belt. It's just has a little peg piece there that you pull off, and then you can remove that, and then you can just take this off. And then once you take the Ghee off, you see again he's got pretty good sculpting there with the muscles. I like that. He's even got some nipples there sculpted on. And I like the skin tone. I think they did a good job with that. And with the Ghee off, he definitely has a little bit better movement here at the midsection, so you can rotate there to the left and to the right. And then at the waist, again, you got rotation, and you can pivot to the left and the right and back and forth there. So definitely when you take that off, you get a little more added range of movement there. Quick thing I want to add about the Ghee and removing it. Technically, it's not an actual feature of the figure. It's not really meant to be removed. So if you do it, you know, like I said, be careful. but again, it's not really meant to be an official feature of the figure. It's just something that you can actually do with the figure. It is very difficult to get it back on with the belt and reconnecting it, and so like I said, it's not really something that's meant to be done. It's just something that you can do if you want to. Now, another thing to note is when taking it off or on, other ways to kind of make it easier is you can actually remove the bottom piece of the figure. And I found that as putting the belt back on, it's easier just to slide the belt over the bottom part of the gi as opposed to trying to attach it around the figure. And then you can also remove the arms, and you can kind of just slide it off. The arms just kind of pop off like that, and this little shoulder piece does come out as well. So once you take those off, then you can kind of just slip it off the figure a little bit easier as well. You still have to kind of loosen or unattach the belt there, but so you don't scrape the paint or stretch out the material, it's easier to do it that way. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I think this is a pretty nice figure. I like the overall sculpting detail on it. I think they did a good job with that and capturing the character's likeness from the Street Fighter V video game. You get some nice accessories. The Hadoken Effect is my only real complaint. It is definitely kind of a pain to get him to hold that. But otherwise, I do think this is a nice figure, and if you're a fan of Street Fighter, it's one you'll want to add to your collection. This figure will be shipping soon from Storm Collectibles. They did send it out to me early so I could review it for you, so big thanks to them for doing that. And this will be shipping right after the Scorpion figure, and then after that will come their Sub-Zero figure. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I'll have links to those in the video description below. And until next time, I'll catch you later.